Good morning and welcome, Roger McDugs, back to the program.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
He's
Happy
like
Tuesday.
he needs his own like Twitter handle or something.
I need to get like something to like prop him up so I can just like bring him into frame every now and then.
You drop him down Mission Impossible style.
Yeah, I get him. I gotta put him on like a fishing line or something, just to reel him up and down.
He's down from a woods.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. How we doing on this wonderful July 1st? Can we believe it's July 1st already?
I know. Actually, it's been a good morning on July 1st because I just heard my favorite line from Point Break right before we got on here, which is the FBI director at the bank robbery site goes, "You know nothing. You know less than nothing. And even if you knew that you knew nothing, that would be something. But you don't."
I need to watch that movie again. It's been a while.
I haven't seen it since I was a little bit younger as well. I actually just rewatched the movie 28 Days Later in preparation for watching the movie 28 Years Later in theaters later this afternoon. I hadn't seen that movie since it came out in like 2007 or something, whatever it was. It was early 2000s. So anyway, going to the movies today. Pretty excited.
Yeah, while we're on movies, because I know we're going to move on to Orioles and sports and all that stuff, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Ran into a couple people just while walking the dog. They were talking about that F1 movie and how awesome it is.
The Brad Pitt movie. I heard it's really good.
Yeah, they said I didn't even know the people that I was talking to. They had dogs as well, so we just kind of like started bullshitting about dogs. But anyway, they were saying it's about 3 hours long, but it's got a lot of Top Gun Maverick feels, but just with cars instead of airplanes.
Mm-hmm. I saw it was Brad Pitt's highest box office like opening weekend in his career, which I just couldn't believe because he's been in how many like blockbuster movies has that guy been in?
Yeah, really.
I can't believe like none of the Ocean's movies cracked that, or like even that zombie movie he was in. Anyway,
that zombie movie he was in.
That zombie movie, World War Z. I couldn't think of the name of the movie. That movie grossed a shit ton of money, and that movie was pretty good. But anyway, we'll get into some sports here. Right before this podcast went live, I did a little update on our Homer draft that we did at the beginning of the year. If you guys forgot, at the beginning of the year, each of us did a snake draft where each of us picked 5 guys in the league, and the most homers at the end of the year gets a prize. The least homers get some sort of detriment happens to them. I don't know. We haven't really a punishment. We haven't really decided on what the stakes are, have we?
Right, fan vote. We'll leave it up to a fan vote.
We need to figure that out. But anyway, as of the last time, Brooks was in the lead pretty staunchly, but he has fallen behind quite a bit because Yordan Alvarez has been hurt for most of his year. So his total in third place stands at 80 home runs. Brian in second place stands at 82 home runs. And I have jumped into first place with 92 total home runs. This is Ohtani. My team is Ohtani, Soto, Matt Olson, Pete Alonso, and Gunnar Henderson. Brooks' team is Yordan Alvarez, Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Brent Rooker, and Kyle Tucker. Brian's team is Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Jose Ramirez, Fernando Tatis Jr., Kyle Schwarber, and Rafael Devers. If you remember at the beginning of the season, Rafael Devers was off to a historically bad start. Now has 17 homers before the All-Star break. So just goes to show how good that guy is. And also he got traded to a park that's going to be harder to hit home runs at, I would say. But anyway, that was just a quick little update for you guys on our homer draft, how everything's standing there. Now, what do you guys want to get into first? Do you want to talk some football? You want to talk that Orioles game last night because it was crazy? Or do you have any other stuff that you want to get out of the way before we get into the sports?
Let's do Orioles last today.
Okay. We'll do Orioles last. I say that we get right into this Pittsburgh Steelers trade that happened yesterday because I think this was pretty interesting and it's right into the division and we're not gearing up for football yet, but we're getting into that mode. So we get a tweet from Adam Schefter yesterday that the Steelers have acquired Jalen Ramsey from the Miami Dolphins, and all these Steelers fans are taking to Twitter like, "Oh, this is awesome! I want to see what we gave up." Blah 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 blah. Like 15 minutes later, they find out that Minkah Fitzpatrick was in the trade going back to the Dolphins, and then all the Steelers fans were all sad. I don't know. I think Micah Fitzpatrick was a great Steeler and they traded a first round pick to get him from the Dolphins. And I know Brian's was a big Micah Fitzpatrick guy at Alabama. I think he was the only freshman to start defense under Nick Saban or something like that. That's your Micah Fitzpatrick thing. Sorry for your thunder there. But yeah, Micah Fitzpatrick goes back in the trade, and a lot of people are frustrated about it. But you have to look at what's going on. Micah Fitzpatrick wasn't very good last year, and honestly, I think a lot of Steelers fans were even reporting to us that he kind of looked lost. They didn't really know what was going on with him last year. I know he sort of plays a different position. Obviously, he's a safety. Jalen Ramsey's a corner, more of a traditional corner. And then, a little bit later, we also found out that maybe like 10 minutes later that Jonnu Smith was also going to the Steelers as part of this deal in return to a fourth round pick, I think. What did you guys make of this deal? Who do you think won? Do you think it changes the landscape of the Steelers or the Dolphins moving forward?
Well, I'm going to say, I don't know who won the trade. I'm going to maybe, early indications say that it's going to be the Steelers because they got two players that are going to be impact players immediately, and the Dolphins only get back one player who will be an impact player, but on a lesser scale. Micah Fitzpatrick plays safety. He does not play corner. Jalen Ramsey is younger. Jalen Ramsey can play both corner, nickel, and safety. And he's already come out on a podcast when he was with the Rams saying that his favorite defender was Charles Woodson, and he watched Charles Woodson go from corner to safety, and he'd have no problem doing that later in his career. So you kind of get like a Swiss Army knife, and a really good one at that. And he's a little bit more expensive. That's going to be the downfall there. And Jonnu Smith, he had 80-some-odd catches last year and like almost 1,000 yards. So I don't think you really see how you can lose there. It makes the Steelers look like they're going all in for this 1 year, and then we got the TJ Watt stuff we'll get into. But I'm definitely going to go with the Steelers on this one.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm kind of confused on this one. I guess I know why they did it because obviously Jalen Ramsey was asking for a trade. He wanted out. But isn't he? No, that guy went to Vic Fangio. He went to Philly. But yeah, same thing as Brian said. It seems like they won this. They wanted Jonnu as well, which I'm confused about because they're two other tight ends. I know one of them ruptured his Achilles. But they still had two other ones, so I guess they're going to have to get rid of one of them or one's going practice squad. I guess you can hold three. We hold three all the time. So, yeah, as of right now, looking at it, it looks like the Steelers crushed this. But we'll see. I don't really know. What was the pick? It was
It's a fifth. So the Dolphins sent a seventh, and the Steelers sent back a fifth.
Yeah. I got to go with the Steelers, man. I'm actually kind of confused that this even happened unless they just saw something that the Jalen Ramsey stuff was going to become an issue and he wasn't going to show up or something. And they were that's the best deal they could get, I guess. I don't know.
It could be contractual.
Yeah.
Smith wants a new deal.
I think Jalen Ramsey wanted out, so they got rid of him and they got rid of the contract in Miami. I don't necessarily think Miami is going to be very good this year, so maybe they're just kind of trying to reset, do like a little bit of a reset. I don't really know what Miami's thinking. I don't really see what their plan is. I know their identity is speed on offense, but I still don't know what the hell the defense is going to do. I think they're going to have trouble playing defense this year. As for the Steelers, they signed Darius Slay this offseason. They drafted Joey Porter's son last year, 2 years ago. And they also signed Deshaun Elliott, I believe, to a 2-year extension this year. So yeah, I think this is sort of an all-in move. I guess if you're the Steelers, what do you have to lose? But I don't know. Their all-in is getting some older players with a lot of question marks that have injury concerns. I don't necessarily know if I would say they win the trade. Obviously, this is just speculation because we don't know who wins these trades until 4, 5, 6 years down the road when everything's played out. But if I had to guess, I would say the Steelers probably get the slightly better end of this deal. But, if you're the Dolphins and you're just trying to shed cap and a player that doesn't want to play there, then I don't really see the downside of it for the Dolphins. The problem is, like I said, the Dolphins' defense is not going to be very good. So, but it wasn't going to be good either way. It wasn't going to be good even if Jalen Ramsey was there. So what's the point of paying him $26 million if your defense is still going to be bottom 10 in the league, most likely.
Miami's going to be the team to watch, but they're going to be a dumpster fire, I think. You already got some hotheads on there, or you got rid of one in Ramsey. I'm not saying he's a terrible person. He just gets fired up and then starts, tweeting.
Yeah.
And then you got Tyreek Hill, and we talked about Tyreek Hill ad nauseum about how much of a weird guy he is.
Yeah. He literally tweeted after the last game of last season that he said, "I don't want to play here anymore." And then they made him take down a tweet, and now he's fine. But he's fine.
When your team starts losing, all of a sudden, it gets awkward in that building.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what quarterback was saying. Might have been Dan Orlovsky. Said something like, in the first couple of weeks, if you come out 1-3, he goes, the tension in that building is palpable because everyone now is looking over their shoulder. Those jokes that you used to have with your coaches during meetings they're no more jokes. It's serious. We got to win now or we're not going to have jobs. So I can see that becoming a problem in Miami. This is a make or break year for their coach and for their quarterback.
Yeah. Do you guys know how many years are left on all these guys' contracts that were involved in this?
I don't.
I don't. I know that Jalen Ramsey he got a $1.5 million raise after this trade, and he's making $26 million this year. I don't know what the contract situation is moving forward after this year, though.
Okay.
Johnny Smith is a 1-year contract extension worth $12 million.
So that was added on to this trade?
That was added on after this trade, yes.
Good.
I don't know what Minka Fitzpatrick's deal is. I think he signed a big deal with the Steelers 2 or 3 years ago, but I can look it up, obviously. But I don't know what's left on that and what the salary cap implications
While you're looking
are.
that up, we put a goal in here of if we can get 5 super chats. I think that's what I put it as, 5 super chats, because I just figured out that you're able to do this. We'll shotgun a beer together.
Hell yeah.
Well, either
Love
you can come on and shotgun a beer with us or not, or we'll just do it ourselves. But from now on, maybe we'll start doing some fun stuff like that, and then we'll put a poll up to see what you guys want us to do for a celebration or something like that. But just figured out how to do this, and it looks like it's kind of fun. So just wanted to bring that up.
So for Minka Fitzpatrick, the Steelers are eating $7 million worth of cap hit this year and next year, I guess, as part of this trade. And that means the Dolphins are going to be eating the rest of his contract, which would be $15 million this year and $17 million next year. If the Dolphins want to cut him instead of paying him the $17 million next year, they would accrue a $6.8 million dead cap penalty. So they could get rid of him and just take that hit. But it depends on how he plays this year, I assume. He's in his 29 season. He'd be age 30 going into next year. Jalen Ramsey, a little bit older, like a year older. I think he's 29 or 30. So they're comparable ages. But, yeah.
I thought Minka was a little bit older than him, but I was wrong.
Yeah. Dummy. Idiot.
Mom is wrong.
What a weird Darren Waller's unretiring and being traded to the Dolphins. How is that? That's not a thing, is it?
I don't know. I'm trying to sign back into my. I'm trying to sign back into my Twitter because I did an update on my computer, so I can check that.
Anyway, I just wanted to point out Jonnu Smith's weird career. Remember, he had that really good year for the Titans, ended up getting paid by the Patriots. Him and Hunter Henry, both big offseason acquisitions for that Patriots team. At the year after, I believe, Tom Brady left, it was the Mac Jones rookie year. Anyway, and then he kind of falls by the wayside on the Patriots, which pretty much that entire offense did for the better part of 3 or 4 years, and then goes to Miami and has a career resurgence last year, catches 87 balls, like you said, and now he's going to Pittsburgh. I just think that was such a weird career. I would have thought he was dead in the water after that Patriots stint, which kind of left a lot of people dead in the water, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's true.
This Darren Waller thing is real? What the hell?
Tom Pelissero, the Arrow.
Wow. Oh, Miles Turner leaves the Indiana Pacers to go to the Bucks as of 20 minutes ago, too. Wow, we got a lot of stuff going on. We got a lot of stuff going on.
A lot of news breaking. Yeah, because I saw that the Pacers were gonna prioritize getting his new deal done. Guess not now.
Oh. In order to get this deal done with the Milwaukee Bucks have to waive Damian Lillard and his remaining $113 million on his contract which was supposed to be over the next 2 years, is now
Holy
going to be
shit.
stretched over the next 5 years. The Bucks are going to pay him the 113 million over the next 5 years and cut him. Holy shit! This is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Anyway,
the NBA is so confusing with
it's
all
fucking ridiculous, dude.
There's
It's
like
so weird.
Barstool Sports 9 minutes ago. Miles Turner to the Bucks. Darren Waller unretired and Dame waived. Crazy few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is coming just an hour after SGA just got the richest deal in sports history year by year, I would think. 4 years, $285 million. But yeah, it looks like Darren Waller coming back to football after having a rough I think he was having like a rough go at it, like mentally, right? After like him and his wife split up, and then he retired at the end of last year, and he came out and said he was really going through it, like with his mental health. Took a year off football. Obviously, the guy's still super young. I think he's only like 29 when he retired, so he's probably 30 years old, and super talented guy. But hopefully, he's got his mental health right. And guys, if you're listening and watching, whatever, if you have mental health problems or anything like that, go out, reach out. There's plenty of people you can reach out to. There's plenty of resources, or come talk to us if you ever want to talk to us and just bullshit. We're always here. Go get that right. Make sure you get that stuff taken care of, because that's the most important.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Um,
I was saying, going back to the NBA stuff, I saw the cap went up. I can't remember the number, like 170 something. But then there's like these like tiers of like aprons where you can hit like luxury tax levels, then like the tax was great. And then there's like mid-level exceptions, and there's so much shit that goes on with these deals.
So
I don't understand how the Damian Lillard thing like plays out. And I'm not asking anyone to to justify it here for me, but it's just so many moving parts with these contracts.
So the CBA that they signed a few years ago, a lot of people, when they were digging into it, like a lot of the people I listen to talking about basketball, were like, this kind of feels like a hard cap. And the NBA never had a hard cap forever, but now they have the salary cap, which is normal, and then after that they have the first apron and the second apron. The first apron, you start losing the ability to trade certain assets depending on your contracts, and you start losing like the ability to sign big market free agents. The second apron, if you go into the second apron of the contract over the luxury tax, you start losing draft picks every year. You start really getting limited on what you can do roster wise if you want to move people or if you want to trade. So you can get into jail really quickly. And this is why Boston, you just saw Jason Tatum's out for next year. Boston just got rid of Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. Get under that second apron so they don't lose those picks, because Jason Tatum's not going to play this year. They're not going to be competitive anyway. And then they can kind of soft sell right now and then retool when he comes back in a year. But the way that they set it up in this new CBA is really, really weird. And I think it's because the owners saw all this TV money coming in and they didn't want to give it all to the players. So they were able to get this stuff in there. But anyway, we talked enough about the collective bargaining agreement of the NBA.
It also doesn't allow you to have super teams for an extended period of time, it seems.
Yeah. Well, it's like, look, OKC's done this whole thing the right way. They drafted all this talent. They never tanked. They've got all these mega stars in there. They drafted most of them, and they traded for SGA, obviously. And they should be rewarded by being able to go on this like really extended long window, because they have all these young guys under team control. But the problem with the new NBA is in 3 years, when all of these guys are up for extensions, just like SGA, when Jalen Williams is going to get this extension, when Chet Holmgren's going to get his extension, they're not going to have enough money to do it. And so their window that should be, 5 to 10 years is really only going to be like 2, 3, 4 years. And we thought the Boston Celtics window after winning the championship last year was wide open. Same thing we would have said 2 years ago or 3 years ago when Giannis won. Same thing we would have said when Jokic won a couple years ago. And look at those teams. Those teams are in complete disarray. It's really weird.
I heard the stat, in 12 years that Adam Silver has been the commissioner, there have been 9 teams who won the NBA championship. And that's only because the Golden State Warriors won 3.
Yeah.
So I kind of dig this, because that means there's actually parity in basketball as opposed to what was going on with the previous commissioners, where you had, I think what it was, the Bulls, the Celtics, and the Lakers were just, and the Rockets. So
and the Spurs.
And the Spurs. Those are the only teams who won NBA championships for like 25 years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Some other news. If you want to switch gears, if you're done with NBA stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
This just popped up. Browns are getting a new $600 million in public funding to put a dome on their stadium, the first one in the AFC North. And Pigtown, I saw you posted this in the chat as well, but here's a picture of what it's. Let me see if I can actually.
Wait, is this putting a roof on the current stadium or building a new stadium with a roof?
It says putting it on it, the current stadium, and building around it.
Interesting.
So where do they play? I mean,
That's what I'm wondering. This is
in its infancy. So
Browns want to host a Super Bowl. Yeah, right, dude.
I mean, that's exactly why, though.
I guess, dude.
I guarantee you that's why they just hosted the draft. And I guarantee you they saw a bunch of influx in money come into the city there. And then I 100% am on Pigtown side here. I guarantee you this is why.
Yeah, and also it would make sense to have a Super Bowl there if the city can do what kind of Indy does and has the appropriate amount of hotel rooms and all that stuff. Because obviously the Super Bowl is a little bit bigger than the draft, but also it's for lack of a better term, Ohio's the home football, given the Canton, Ohio is where the Hall of Fame is.
Yeah. I mean that's pretty far away though, isn't it?
I don't know.
I'm not sure though. But yeah, it's between that and I mean this has got to help attract some free agents, you would think as well. Especially ones that are towards the end of their career that don't want to go get beat up in the elements all the time. So, but again, they're going to come to a division where the 4 other teams don't have it. So,
morning, Laura. How you doing today? What's up, Joe? How you doing, brother?
Yo.
What's up, Pigtown? How you doing today, dude? British Ravens in here too. We got all kinds of peoples in here.
All the
How
goods.
we doing? All the guys, all the ladies. Does this count? Remember for 8 months? I don't know. Can we count the Brooks?
Well, I mean, it's up to YouTube. Let me see.
It's up to YouTube if we shotgun a beer.
Well, no, like that's. I did it through the YouTube studio thing, and it shows you like. No, apparently it still says 0 out of 5.
Okay. Well, either way, whatever.
But hell yeah, thanks for being a member for 8 months. Though,
we appreciate it, Joe. Thank you very much. As a bunch of crazy shit is happening in the NBA as we do this pod, so we kind of got off topic there for a little bit, but just quickly back to the Steelers. Obviously, we just talked about the Jalen Ramsey and Micah Fitzpatrick trade and the Johnny Smith stuff. What do you guys make of these stories about TJ Watt? Potentially, teams potentially calling in to see if the Steelers would maybe be interested in moving him after they're kind of having stalwart discussions with the star edge rusher as we get into minicamp, training camp area of the season. What do you make of this? Do you think he'll be a Steeler? Do you come this year? Do you think he'll finish his career with the Steelers? Do you think this gets resolved? How do you think this works out?
Bruce?
Yeah, I think I'm sure people have been calling on him in general. When they first found out that he was holding out or not even, or just wanting a new contract, I'm sure a couple people have checked in just because like that's just should be your due diligence. But after they saw that they're willing to deal Minkah, I think this opens the floodgates and they're going to be getting a lot of calls here over the next few days, few weeks. But ultimately, I do think TJ Watt stays there. I do. So I don't know what their cap looks like or anything like that. He did take a team-friendly deal last time. That's why this is an issue now. Issue/non-issue. I think he's just like, hey, I did it last time. Now you guys need to come to the table. But yeah, I think he ultimately does end up staying there. I think they'll figure out a way to make it work, especially because they got. Well, actually, I don't know. We'd have to look up see what their salary cap is. So
my house just shook. That was weird.
Okay. Jeez.
No, I want to go look out front to see what that was. I'll be right back.
Go for it. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I think he ends up staying. I'm with you, Brooks. I think he ends up staying here or staying in Pittsburgh. But this is an intriguing time for defensive ends. You have 3 guys that are up for contracts between Trey Hendrickson, TJ Watt, and Micah Parsons. Jesus.
Yeah.
And really, it almost seems like it's a little bit of a waiting game too for these guys to like pull the trigger, see what the number is, maybe the new number.
Well, Myles Garrett set the new number.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be in working order. I didn't see anything, but that was really bizarre. What I miss?
Nothing.
We just talking about how there's 3 DNs who all are for either one contracts or up for contracts, and it's kind of like, when's the first domino fall? Maybe people were waiting. Maybe these agents are waiting to see what that number is. They can then take that contract, carbon copy it, send it over to their respective teams.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're TJ Watt and you see that Myles Garrett contract, you probably want that contract. I don't blame him. And I know Trey Hendrickson's come out and said he didn't want to reset the market. He just wanted to be paid what he felt like he was owed. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting how it plays out. Obviously, Trey Hendrickson and TJ Watt are going to be playing football for somebody come September, because these teams are too smart to let these guys just sit there.
Right.
But I don't know.
Brian and I both think that he's going to be back with the Steelers. They'll figure out a way to keep him. It would be weird to see him in another uniform at this point.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd love to see him in purple and black, but I just don't see that happening.
Nah, dude. Nah, that seems like he'd have to have a real big falling out with the Steelers and be like, fuck it, I'm going to the Ravens.
Who's the last Steeler to be was it Mike Wallace? The last Steeler to be a Raven?
No.
It happens. Remember the offensive tackle?
Villanueva?
The one that was spitting on the ground at your bar.
Oh, yeah.
No, Dante Johnson. But I mean, he
Oh, yeah.
Deontay Johnson, what a clown. Said it was so cold he couldn't feel his fingers and wouldn't go in the game. What a bitch. Sorry. Yeah. Kid show. Patrick Queen also reminds me of it going the other way. And Deshaun Elliott.
Yeah.
Hook 'em horns. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because that's something that's been going on. We will move on. We're going to do Orioles stuff last, so let's go just quickly around the league. I mentioned this before we got on the pod. I don't know if you guys watched the Sunday night baseball game. Tarek Skubal it's appointment. I've said it a couple times, but like, if you guys haven't watched Tarek Skubal pitch, next time you have the opportunity, if he's on TV or if he's on a national broadcast, just watch it. It's unbelievable, the command he has over the zone. He's throwing strikes at like an unbelievable, like an unprecedented rate. He's like one of the most efficient guys I've ever seen throw this hard. It's so much fun to watch him pitch, and he just completely dominated the Minnesota Twins the other night.
Yeah. What else you got? I agree with you. I mean,
I wanted to see how long it was going to breathe. That's what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
What else can you say? The dude's a fucking animal, and I love his emotion on the mound. The guy goes out there and attacks people. He's not sitting there on his heels.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what more could you want from a pitcher?
Yeah. Cal Raleigh, who's taken the lead by storm this year, has hit his his 33rd home run as a catcher, and that was on June 30th. So 33 home runs before we even get into July. Outrageous stuff going on for him. Bryce Harper just returned from his injury. He's back. And then the Phillies beat the Padres last night, so that's big for them. Santander still not swinging. He's got a shoulder. He hasn't been playing very much baseball for the Toronto Blue Jays. That contract is starting to look like it's not starting out all that well for him, but obviously plenty of time to go there for him. And then Aaron Judge had 2 homers the other night. Looks like he's getting back on track after like a slow week or two. That dropped his batting average from close to 400 to like close to 350. Still ridiculous, but yeah. Oh no, whatever will we do? Other than that, around the league, I don't have a ton. Other than the fact that it is Bobby Bonilla Day. You guys celebrate Bobby Bonilla Day?
I celebrate it with you guys just because it's so much fun to just talk back and forth on the group chat. By the way, when we get into the Orioles, I've got to talk about the group chat.
Okay.
And wow.
Let's just do it now. Fuck it. You want to do it now?
Well, Bobby Bonilla, I looked it up just because I have to look it up every year. When that contract actually ends, he's getting paid by the Mets through 2035, $1.19 million, I believe is what I saw.
Hasn't played a baseball game for the Mets since 1999, by the way. That was 26 years ago. If my math's correct.
I wonder
Speaking of Hall of Very Good, and Ryan had the Hall of Very Good guy on his show last week, and
Yeah,
what
I saw Shane Victorino got voted in last night. Did you see?
Yeah. I just think that guy, the concept of that account was genius.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah.
It really brings in everybody, all the guys who sit down with a beer and just start naming random athletes. And this just plays into our wheelhouse with the MLB. But yeah, I think he does have criteria on it, so I don't know if it qualifies. You have to be like under a 35 career WAR, no Cy Youngs, no MVPs. I think
no like major awards.
Yeah.
I was watching. While we're talking about that, I got sidetracked the other day and went down a baseball YouTube rabbit hole, which I do all the time. But there's a guy named Jolly Olive who works for the JM Baseball media crew, the John Boy guys. And he makes these videos about like these underutilized guys. And he made a Mark Reynolds video that I watched last week that I really liked. And he made a video this week titled "The Best Player That's Never Played in an All-Star Game." Did you guys know that Eric Chavez won 6 Gold Gloves and an MVP and never went to the American League All-Star Game? Never played in an All-Star game.
Really?
If you look at the 6-year peak of his career, he was like a 5+ WAR player for 6 straight years and never made an All-Star team.
Yeah, you're getting held down by like
it was A-Rod and Troy Gloss like the first 3 years, and then Hank Blaylock. And somebody else was in it. Well, A-Rod was in it the whole time. But
Hank Blaylock.
No, there run with the Rangers where he was a stud, dude.
That's what I was gonna say. There was the one year with Hank Blaylock was leading the league in average and home runs going into the break. I remember, and was in the home run derby, I believe, too.
Yep.
Wow.
It goes into like the whole depth of why he never made an All-Star team, but it's really really interesting to watch. He definitely got completely shafted several times. He should have certainly made it over a couple of those Troy Gloss seasons, but can we get a Hall of Shame too? Brian's the first inductee.
Yeah, baby.
The Hall of Shame. Who's in that?
Probably
former shortstop for the Tampa Bay Rays.
We don't talk about.
Yeah.
That's where my mind went like immediately.
There's a couple of Pittsburgh Pirates back in the day that I can think of too. Anyway, we won't shed light on those fellas. I can't. I'm trying to. I had something else to bring up, and I'm blanking. Sorry. You guys have any other stuff? You want to get into That's a Shame real quick while we try to figure something out to talk about?
Yeah.
All right,
I got another.
Let's get into That's a Shame.
Do that.
Boo. All right, Brian, you're going to go first this time. What do you got?
Well, we're going to talk about it a little bit later too, but that's a shame. Gary Sanchez playing catcher in the major leagues. I watched the game with Delaware Dave last night, and when that play happened where Haggard scored from second, Dell begins screaming, EFA that motherfucker. He is a trash panda. Get him. He should never be allowed to wear leather in the ballpark. He's just going ballistic on people. And there's like random people that are eating, and they are like, what the hell is occurring? Dell's just going off for him. He doesn't know who the hell these people are. He's blowing it up. Gary Sanchez looks so bad behind the plate. It's unbelievable. I know he got thrusted into this because of the injury, but he should never catch again. And I don't know who we're pulling up today, and we'll get into that later. But it's painful to watch, and you could actually see him. Look, they're in an indoor stadium. Okay, he was profusely sweating after he made a couple blunders. You could just tell he did not want to be in that ballpark.
The last one, the third run, the relay in from, I think it was either Gunnar or Jackson. It was after the throw. At second base, right? Yeah, it was Jackson. It was a short hop, 100%. And Jim Palmer said on the thing, it's a short hop. But dude, you got to catch one of these. Like, it's been 2 weeks, you haven't caught one. Can you catch one of them?
And not to mention, I know it's a short hop, but what do you lose at that point? There's no one else on base. So he went down the ball, even if he caught the ball, he went down in like a blocking position and he was behind the plate a little bit.
Yeah.
Get out there and try to sideswipe that bad boy.
Yeah.
And then once again, what do you lose? If you goes off your glove, at least you have the ability, if you caught it, to tag it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And not only that, it all starts with the throw that was 3 or 4 feet to the right, throwing it into the runner. Gunnar should have probably did a little bit more to try to knock that thing down. A decent throw, he's out at second to begin this entire sequence, right? Like he had him dead to rights. The throw beat him. Everything was like the throw just had to be decent, and it wasn't. And then I mean, I wanted to point out it doesn't even get to the end part if the beginning part is halfway decent.
Yeah, compounded in air. And then I can't remember if it was in the 9th inning or if it was in the 10th when we got out of a jam, and they had the Rangers at first and third, and a guy steals, and Gary Sanchez comes up. Now he probably wouldn't have got him anyway. The guy was probably going to steal the base.
Spiked it.
The minute he got up to throw, I was like, "Hold on to it! Don't throw it!" Like I'm just screaming at the television, like he can hear me in Arlington.
Is that the one he spiked in the third?
No,
there was one.
Second base.
There was one recently that he had already fucked up a couple things, and that somebody was stealing third, and he just fucking spiked it in the third. I forget who it was though, but yeah, it was good on Urias for doing everything he could to keep that in front of him. Like it seems like at least he has half a baseball IQ in there. Christ
Gary, by the way, kind of hitting pretty well right now. Just saying.
Kind of.
Just saying.
He's fucking smoking the ball.
He's smoking hot. Him and Laureano. Laureano last night was cooking.
Every single time Laureano came up to the bat, he'd be like, "Juicing. He's juicing."
Who said that?
Off the ball.
Who said that?
At the bar.
Some random. Yeah.
Some Randy at the bar.
He has been popped for that before, I think.
Has he?
I believe so. I think he got a 50 game or something like that. I could be wrong.
Gary Sanchez, that's a shame.
Yeah. I don't really even have it. That's a shame, honestly. I didn't really think of anything. If I think of something throughout the show, I'll get back to you. I guess Milwaukee, but for paying Damian Lillard $113 million over the next 5 years to play basketball for somebody else, that might be a shame for them. But good for them, honestly, for trying to do something to get some help in there for Giannis, who's one of the best players that we've ever seen play basketball and has had zero help for basically his whole career except for 1 year.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll build on Brian's. That's a shame. It's just the fucking Orioles injuries that keep adding up. Now that Trump he's gone down. I saw somewhere, I think Dusty, you said that Maverick Hanley has had issues with concussions in the past, so that's going to be probably a slow roll back into it. And I mean, we'll get into it here in a little bit about what we think on all that. But, yeah, and Eflin, we haven't talked since Eflin went down with his back tightening up on him. So just the injuries, man. Just the injuries. Yeah. Luckily, Westy went out the other night, and he should be back in the lineup. He said that he's not going to be 100%, but he's just looking to get it good enough so he can get back on the field playing. So, yeah, just the injuries, man. It just sucks. I don't even know what to say about it. It's just every day. Yesterday, Rock Kabako was just like really just put a damper on the Twitter sphere there for 20 minutes.
I have the little string of tweets that you pointed out. Jorge Mateo came out of yesterday's rehab game with a sore hamstring. Yep. Cade Povich pulled from his rehab with Norfolk due to hip soreness. Charlie Morton pushed back to Friday in Atlanta with a low-grade elbow tendonitis. Sorry, I got something in my throat.
That one I'm not worried about.
Westberg said his left index finger wouldn't be 100% for a while. He's shooting for good enough, and he's going to be in and out of the lineup, I guess. Eflin went to the IL with lower back discomfort, as we saw him pulled out the other night. In good news, I guess, Grayson Rodriguez playing catch in the outfield. He made the trip with the Orioles to Texas, so spotted on the field. I think that's all for the injury stuff, right? We don't have any other updates on Grayson and Tyler Wells other than what we knew last week, right? And Bradish and them.
Grayson's throwing bullpens. I think he's thrown one or two. I think they said that he's probably up to like 30 pitches or so. I forget what it was, but I think he started mixing. I get them mixed up because I'm looking at all of them. But Wells is about a week or so behind Bradish. Bradish is starting live BP here after the All-Star break, or now. Said beginning of July. So yeah, I think that's all I got. And you said that Povich tweaked his hip or had soreness in his hip. I don't know. I guess that's why he went down. I don't remember. Why did he go down for his?
I'm losing track.
Who was up?
Povich. Did he just get sent down, or did he go down for?
It was hip tightness or something. Hip, whatever I just read. Hip tightness.
Is that why he was down there, or did he just get sent down?
Oh, that I don't know.
Okay, I didn't know if he was like tweaked what he was down there for.
No.
The Charlie Morton stuff, I'm not too terribly. Tendonitis is in everybody, and they said it's mild, and it sucks. It's going to hurt. It's going to bother him. I have a ton of it. It's just something that it's rest, right? That's why they pushed him back a day. He just wanted a little bit more rest, and he's fine. It's not something that is an actual injury per se. It just sucks.
Yeah.
Just sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunate. But look, on the brighter note, we won a baseball game last night that we looked like we had all the business winning, and then looked like we had no business winning, and then looked like we had all the business winning again somehow. How about that Adolis Garcia absolute tank, and he just sits on home plate and just it's been all over social media this morning. Yeah. That guy hits mammoth tanks. Although earlier in the game, he looked like he had never played right field before on somebody's line drive. I can't remember who it was.
It was Sanchez.
It wasn't
the ball had some tail. Those are the ball had some tail on it. He kind of like sidestepped it.
Yeah, it was super weird. He did not look very athletic in that moment, and then obviously redeemed himself with the sick tie ball game home run back there in the 10th, I think. And then the O's just exploded in the extras. We've been getting to Corbin. I mean, that's the second time we faced him in like a week. But the first time we faced him, I think we had 9 hits in 5 innings. This time we had just about as many off Patrick Corbin. I know he's been struggling the last few seasons, but the first half of this season, he was having a pretty good go of it until these last 2 starts against the O's. And we've kind of hit him around a little bit. Although he did make Jackson look silly a few times with that sweeper slider thing that he throws. When he locates that thing, it's really effective, but I think he hangs it a little bit more than he used to these days.
By the way, that play by Jackson Holiday yesterday, look, that's why analytics are only worth so much to me. I mean, him diving to keep that ball
up the middle.
There's no stat for that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a veteran play right there from a second-year player.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Also, he didn't break his damn wrist because he rolled over on that bad boy pretty good.
Yeah. We don't need any more finger, hand, wrist injuries in this freaking locker room, dude. I had enough of that shit.
Yeah, and as hitters, like wrist stuff is not fun to deal with. Finger stuff you can get away with a little bit, but wrist stuff is really going to take away a lot of power.
Yeah. But yeah,
that was a fun game. That felt like a playoff game, honestly. I know we're still on this side of the All-Star break, but this kind of goes along with the group chat. When the Gary Sanchez stuff happened, I was eating, and I'm watching the game with Dell, and I looked down at my phone, and I went from 7 text messages that I hadn't read to like 73 text messages that I hadn't read, all within like a 5 to 7 minute window. And I remember I looked at Dell, and I'm like, this baseball group chat, like 3/4 of them had families or work in the bar industry and are busy. And it looked like everybody was just watching the baseball game. And like we were all holy shit. I didn't even read any of the text. I just like opened up our group chat and like, fuck this. I'm sure we're all talking about Gary Sanchez.
Gary giveth and Gary taketh away. That was the general consensus of Gary Sanchez talking.
He does.
Man, like everyone's up late watching this ball game, having a blast.
Oh,
after bedtime.
Yeah. I got my
I love that.
Oh, baby.
So to go back through like the games that we've missed since Thursday, the 22-8 game against Tampa, Sugano didn't look like he had his best stuff,
dude.
That was a wild ride.
I'll tell you what. I had a feeling the Orioles were going to win that game. I was like, I feel an offense explosion coming today. And I told my buddies, I was like, I have a group chat with two of my buddies I work down here with, and I'm like, we need to bet the O's today. Nuclear missile whale play, we say all the time, NMWP, when we're going to go big on the O's. Nuclear missile whale play. I said MWP on the O's today. I got a feeling we're going to break out. And my buddy texted me after the first inning, nice call, you dumbass. It's 6-0. And the next inning, so like we didn't get that game at where I work. We don't have Apple TV because it was on Apple TV. That was Friday night. I was watching the game on my phone, and I text my buddy. I'm like, oh, dude, it's 6-4. We're coming back. We got a chance at this. And then the next time I looked at my phone, it was 11-7. And then the next time I looked at my phone, it was 20. It was like 20-8. And I was like, what the hell did I just miss? What's going on? But I called it. It just didn't happen until a little bit later in the game.
Was that the game? Because I watched two games where position players pitched. Was that the one where the guy was throwing like 36 miles an hour?
Yeah, Mayo got his
first career homer.
And then people on the
36 mile an hour pitch is pretty difficult.
People on the internet, people on the internet who don't know anything about Kobe Mayo or the Orioles or anything like that were giving him shit for doing like the shrug afterwards towards the dugout. Because it was obviously that he was pissed off. He's like, of course I hit my first one off a position player.
Yeah.
Like it was one of those kind of things. Like he was kind of pissed off about it, but other people on Twitter were like going nuts about him. Like, what, you're pimping a ball off a position player up 20, whatever.
Yeah. How about Kobe Mayo, though? He's having a lot better at bats as of late. And he's playing a damn good first base. He was picking balls last night. He extended for one that we really needed, the one that Urias kind of dribbled over to him on that backhand at third. Urias was picking it at third last night, by the way. He had a really good night. He kept us in the game quietly. And once again, like Brian said, the stat sheet doesn't really reflect those kind of plays, but a couple of those balls get down the line, that game could have looked a little bit different. But yeah, I love what I've seen out of Kobe Mayo. He just looks so much more comfortable offensively and defensively. Just maybe it's just because he's been around the guys and he's been around the clubhouse. He's been in the league for a little bit longer. He's just getting more reps. Do you attribute it to that, or do you think he's made adjustments? Brooks, we'll go to you first.
I mean, both. We've talked about this ad nauseum. Like when guys come up, like you kind of need some playing time to get your bearings about you. Especially, I mean, these guys are coming up for the first time, like in seeing major league time. Like they're gonna struggle at some point. Like you kind of gotta let them breathe a little bit. You can't give them 30 at bats and be like, all right, you're a bust. Send them back down to start, unless you see something glaringly wrong with their swing or something that they need to go down and work on something. I get that, but yeah, I think he's just getting more comfortable in general. Couple hits builds the confidence pretty quickly. A couple picks over there at first will build the defensive confidence pretty quickly. So that's what I mean. I think it's just going to keep compounding, hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah, there's nothing really else to add there. When we talked about it, I think we beat this horse. So hopefully it keeps up.
Yeah. And Mountie started hitting, I guess, or started hitting in a cage soon. So that's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with him.
Do we just keep an infirmary like at Camden Yards?
Right.
We might need to at this point. The taxi squad is just going to be like 50 players by the end of the season. Brandon Young versus Jacob deGrom version 2 tonight. It happened last week. It didn't go very well for Brandon Young because deGrom almost threw a no-hitter. What do we expect to see tonight? A little bit more of the same? I mean, deGrom, obviously, when he's been on, he's just been fucking lights out.
would we go against him? Why? I mean, 13 consecutive throwing 2 runs or less.
I'm not going to like bet against him to lose against us, but I think we'll hit him a little bit better just from seeing him in such a short time frame in between starts. So I don't think it's going to be as dominant as last time. Christ, it might be. Who knows? When he's on, he's on. But but seeing somebody in that short of a time frame should help out our guys a little bit to get on some tendencies, hopefully. But we'll see.
Jacob deGrom career 92 and 59 with a 2.49 ERA. 2.49 career ERA is not normal.
Yeah,
not a normal thing to see.
A season of that would be nice.
Yeah, one season is that's a Cy Young caliber season. He had 2018 1-7.
Yeah, that 1 year. If he didn't play another game, would he go into the Hall?
Man,
I don't think so. Just because the longevity is such a piece of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But if so, he's in his age 37 season now. If he continues this season and maybe has 1 or 2 more like this, I think his case gets significantly stronger. Just because of the big comeback after really 3 years of just not pitching. I don't know. I mean, his peak is he had a 5-year stretch where he's Cy Young 8, Cy Young 1, Cy Young 1, Cy Young 3, Cy Young 9. And then he gets hurt for 3 years, and now he's 8-2 with a 2.0. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, obviously the guy's mega talented. Like Trout, if he doesn't play another game, he's already in because he's put up the counting numbers that you already need. I don't know if DeGrom gets there because, like I said, he doesn't even have 100 wins. But I mean, he also won Rookie of the Year, by the way. So 2 Cy Youngs and a Rookie of the Year. I mean, it's a pretty good resume.
Maybe on our Thursday segment, that could be. Well, I guess no, they got to be retired already.
I mean, we can do active.
That's a tough one. Mm-hmm. That's a real tough one because I don't read wins. We've talked about that before. Now you're reading whips and wars and all that stuff. So
yeah,
but the longevity.
But as far as Hall of Fame voters go, I mean, like, isn't the thing on the Hall of Fame voters is that they're all angry old men? They probably do look at wins.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's a younger influx coming in and whatnot. But I mean, look, we're speculating here because you can look at. I mean, Tim Lincecum's got 2 Cy Youngs. He's not in.
Yeah, that's true. Johan Santana, same thing. Johan Santana really should have had 3 in a row if Bartolo Colon didn't steal his one.
Does Lincecum have 2 no-hitters?
2 no-hitters? I don't know.
Yeah.
I know Matt Cain has 2 no-hitters. I'm pretty sure. Matt Cain might have had a perfect game, actually.
Yeah.
Tim Lincecum.
They had stud pitching all the time.
And then Bumgarner came up right after him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tim Lincecum with 2 career no-hitters, 1 in 2013, 1 in 2014.
Crazy.
Both against the Padres. Doesn't count.
But yeah,
so much fun to watch.
Back to the Orioles. I feel like that Rays series that we just had that we took 2 out of 3 was a must take 2 out of 3 series.
Yeah.
If we lose that series, that kind of feels like it's backbreaking. And that kind of makes the decision on like what we're going to do here at the break a little bit easier. But I mean, they're hanging. I gotta give them credit, man. They're fighting. I see some fight in the guys. So
yeah, I still think look, it'll determine what we do at the deadline will be determined in the next 30 days, obviously, as it will be for most teams. If we win. If we win 15 out of the next 20 games, then we might be like kind of buying going in a little bit, but I still think we're probably going to be in the camp of selling a little bit just with these guys that are on contract, that are on the last year of the contract. And we said this on the last podcast, so we don't have to beat a dead horse.
It's not really even a sell. It's like a retool.
It's like a soft sell, right? It's like get rid of the guys that aren't going to be here next year and get some at bats for the guys who are going to be here next year and see what you got a little bit. I Obviously,
I mean,
I prefer the other way around, but we're in the situation we're in.
I mean, a lot of people are sitting there saying like it's going to be Sagano, Eflin, and
O'Hearn, Morton, Mullins.
I'm talking about pitching. It's Sagano, Eflin, and Morton are like they want those guys gone. It's like, all right, who's going to fucking pitch for us?
Kyle Gibson.
There's nobody in the minors. Like we got Brandon Young up, Stroud's elongate, like McDermott's still down there, I guess, but who else is down? Like, who's gonna throw innings for us?
Here's what I'll say though. I don't think the idea is to get rid of all three. I think those are the three candidates that make sense, and get rid of one or two of them, maybe. You know what I mean? But I don't think all three are gone because, like you said, who's going to pitch? It's not going to be good.
And I think this is the scenario that we're hoping for, but it ain't going to be anybody good. I mean,
Trevor Rogers just had a 13-inning scoreless streak.
Why would teams give up a good pitcher, especially that's younger than the guys that you're probably going to be getting that we're trading, if you're trying to get somebody to go on a run?
There's a couple teams in the league that probably are just going to need to overpay because they need certain players, positions, whatever. Like the Phillies need a left-handed hitting outfield. We just happen to have Ryan O'Hearn and Cedric Mullins. Ryan O'Hearn's not necessarily an outfielder, but he can.
I know that. I'm talking about the pitchers, though. I'm talking about the pitchers that we're looking to get rid of. The hitters, I understand. We're good there. It's just our pitching. Like if we don't get anybody, if we do get anybody back in these trades, they're probably going straight to the minors, or they're going to stink worse than whatever we're giving up. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
and you can't throw all these innings on Bradish, Wells, and Grayson if they do come back this year.
Yeah.
And I could see, if we're out of it, shutting Grayson down for the rest of the year. I could see that happening.
Yeah, and Bradish too. I mean, if I know he's ahead of schedule or whatever, but look, if we're 15 games below 500 heading into August, what's the point of bringing these guys back and potentially getting them hurt before the year starts? I don't know. We'll see. I know there's been a little bit of talk in the bullpen side for a couple of those guys too, because we have Sir Anthony, we have Gregory Soto. They could be guys that people might want. Felix Bautista obviously would be a guy people would want, but we would have to get a ridiculous return for him. I would think if, going to the Phillies, well, again, they have two very highly touted pitching prospects in Andrew Painter and Mick Abel. Painter's still recovering from injury, I believe. But if we were to move Felix Bautista to a team like that, those would be the guys we would be looking to get back, I would think, in that kind of deal. I don't think we'll move Felix Bautista, but if somebody offers you a stupid amount for him, I think you definitely have to consider it.
I mean, especially if a team like offers us a decent, like a pretty damn good starter that has some team control.
Starting pitching prospect with team control. You got to consider it. It's a relief pitcher, right?
A team that needs a closer for the playoffs is willing to part ways with their 3 or 4 guy or something. I don't know. I mean, I just me talking out loud here. And yeah, the MLB, the Players Association does make you come back, but we all know that people step in potholes and massage some of this stuff as well. So, but and have setbacks that probably don't have setbacks. But also, a good way to start this Rangers series with a win. I know we got DeGrom tonight. I'm not going to chalk it up as an L because I think we're going to hit a little bit better against him. But I'm 90% sure this is probably going to be an L. But
just call us spade here.
Yeah, unless like for some reason we go off on DeGrom, we'll see. I just don't see it happen. And then Evaldi is coming back from. Is this his first start since coming back from his little stint on the IL? I think he's gettable. He's always been pretty gettable during the year until we get towards the end of the year in the playoffs. That's when he kind of kicks it into overdrive. So another 2 out of 3 against the team that's in front of us would be awesome because we also have a hot Atlanta team and
hot
Atlanta. So we're on our way. But back to our catching situation. I guess we have to go there.
Yeah, who's going to catch baseball games for us over the course of the next month?
So we signed Stallings, who is
Jacob Stallings.
I mean, I'm just bringing this up. That's who we signed here last week, who's actually got playing time in the majors over the last 6 seasons, whatever he's been in. He's not good.
Pirates and Marlins, maybe.
He's not good. But I think
Pirates and Marlins and Rockies.
Yeah. I mean, this might just force their hand, man. They might have to. They might have to do it. But if they do it, I think he needs to stay.
What do you mean, beside him?
Yeah. And if they don't do it, it's going to be Creed Willems, I'd assume.
I mean, I'd rather pick the guy that catches.
Creed?
Yeah. The guy who plays catcher more often than not.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, though. That's kind of what I think.
That is that spot on stellar analysis that we need.
No, but I mean,
it's true. It's true. Just can't do it. You can't do it. He's trying so hard. He can't do it. Creed plays first a lot too. Okay. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
They're playing first now. I guess. I don't know.
Well, yeah, they're all
out there.
They're all going to take reps. Nobody's really out there.
Where's Jeff Mathis when you need him? Wasn't that guy in the league for like 100 years?
But
he's just playing on every team that had this situation happen.
Yeah, I do think they'd rather start the clock on Creed rather than Sam if we're playing that game. But I just think I was in the camp of bringing him up in like late August or sometime in August or September. 28 catcher. He caught 28 games, 18 at first, 14 at DH. But fuck it, Sam's hot right now hitting. Maybe it's a jolt. And let him figure it. There's no way he's worse than. I mean, we say this. There's no way he's worse than Gary behind home plate. But at least you can run him out there. You can call the pitches for him. He doesn't like take his brain away from trying to call pitches and do scouting reports. And just say, hey, like let's make the safe play. Make sure we're making good throws down the second base, third base, block balls in the dirt. Like, let's just do like we don't need to be ridiculous trying to catch a short hop and do a swipe tag at home plate and let the ball roll to the backstop. Let's just safe play for everything where you're here for your hitting and to catch some games behind home plate to take the load off. But
I just
what are your thoughts on that, Brian?
I just went on to Jeff Mathis's baseball reference page, and it's probably one of the most unspectacular things I've ever seen in my life. He played in the league from 2005 to 2021, 17 seasons. His career WAR is .3. He had a 194 career batting average.
You say that, Big Town, but he didn't do it for Jackson last year.
Mike's going to protect that 130 at passing. Yeah, right. We should have done that last year. We had God, dude. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Brian, do you have any thoughts on the catching situation other than the fact that,
what would you like to see?
It's going to be ugly.
I mean, look, I understand Pigtown's point, but I'd rather see Basayo. I think we've been calling for a very long period of time. I understand the negative portions of the negative parts of bringing him up. I get it.
I just don't think we have a choice now.
No, like you said, Brooks, this might be forcing them to hand. So that's what I think, but I totally get if we don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right too. I mean, Pigtown said they didn't have anyone else available to play second. We're kind of getting in that spot right now with catcher too. So it's pretty similar. Although I mean, we've all said Creed is still down there too. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's also going to be interesting to see like how long is Adley actually going to be out? How long is Maverick actually going to be out? And it's like if we're expecting them back pretty close. Hanley could be back today. We'll see. I mean, I know that's what his timeline was, but with I didn't read anything that Rock might have said. Maybe he did say something on that. But if they're going to bring Sam up to only keep him up here for 10 days or something like that, don't bring him up. Don't start it. Right. I just don't think you can. You'll just get through it or bring Creed up and start. I'd rather start his. So. Or bring that Jacob Stallings guy in, and we're just gonna have to bite the bullet. So, yeah, it's rough. rough
All right.
spot. But
Well, let's,
things are looking up. 2 out of 3 against the Rays. 2 out of 3 against the Rays. We win game 1. We got DeGrom and Navaldi here the next 2. And then where do we go? We go Atlanta or Mets next? Atlanta.
Service time confuses you nowadays. You're not alone there, dude.
no,
Yeah, you're
No,
not alone
well,
there.
all right, let's bring the mood up a little bit. I know we got a draft coming up here shortly, but just completely, as I like to say, right turn from the left-hand lane. Stumbled across the Inside Story last night on television. It's a documentary on the last year of the NBA on TNT. Highly recommend. Highly. It's about an hour and 25 minutes long.
Interesting that they made it so close to the end of the. Like, how did they make it already? Was it like The Last Dance? They followed him around like for the year, or was it like
around for the year?
Okay.
And then they don't like the coverage or like all the film and all the document. The documentary basically ends at the end of the NBA regular season, which obviously the NBA playoffs are like 2-3 months in length. So they're probably doing all the the film room cutting floor stuff throughout the duration of the playoffs. But they put it out. I found it on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's on any other platforms, but it was really good. It's called The Inside Story, and it really is just pure behind the scenes, like the ladies who do the makeup. I mean, there's just a lot of like really good stuff in there. And then it's a lot about Ernie Johnson. But it also has a lot to do with the control room and those guys. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. I hope that show doesn't get completely ruined by ESPN, and I hope that Stephen A. Smith has basically no time on it. But we know how ESPN operates, and I don't necessarily know that that's going to be the case. Also, just noticed that you changed your name to Jose Cruz Jr. Big fan of that.
Yes. So that was a question that we were kicking around, like a player you missed on, like who you thought was going to be absolutely freaking amazing. And I swore Jose Cruz Jr. was going to be amazing.
Mine's always going to be Matt Elam for the Ravens. I thought that guy was going to be a stud out of Florida, and he sucked.
He was not good.
He was bad.
I could not wake up. Yawning.
It's 12:20, dude.
I can't wake up. I've been up for a while. I just can't wake up. I've been up since 9:30.
I don't know. Maybe like Larry Bigby. I don't even know.
Luis Matos. We thought he was going to be good.
Yeah, but I mean, I wasn't like hell bent on him. I feel like Brian Mattis. I was really hoping that was going to be. I mean, everybody was like
Bundy too.
But
Bundy. That's a good one.
Bundy's struggled.
I remember his workout videos when he was in high school. People were always hyped up.
Brad Bergeson would have been a legend if Billy Butler didn't hit that line drive at his ankle. I'm still mad about that. Billy Butler.
Talking about somebody that, Billy Butler.
Billy Butler could be a Hall of Very good DH.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Barbecue sauce.
One that just came to my mind was Trent Richardson, the running back out of Alabama, who got drafted 4th overall.
Yeah,
I was like, oh man, they got a deal there, and then boom.
This is a really good one, Pigtown. I love Nolan Reimold. I thought he was going to be a stud too.
Yeah. Players you thought were going to be great. I swore Jose Cruz Jr. I used to have this. I might have been in like 7th grade, being like, Jose Cruz Jr. is going to be better than Kenny Lofton. Now I look like an absolute asshat.
Kenny Lofton is one of the best players that's not in the MLB Hall of Fame. I guess he would be. He's not eligible for the Hall of Very Good, though. He's way too good.
Way too good for the Hall of Very Good.
Way too good. All right, let's get into our draft this week. Brooks wiped the freaking floor with us last week when the one named artist draft, which was Brian's idea, by the way. Brian, you came in last. What do you have to say for yourself?
I'm disappointed in the people that voted because you have Prince and Madonna on your team, and you get one vote, and I did not vote for myself. That's BS. And Tupac and Biggie came in 2nd place. And once again, as Brooks said before we went live here, he won a draft with Key $Ha as his 4th round pick. Kesha.
It's true. Shout out to Drew.
Shout out to Drew Burton.
I think we might have a special guest on Thursday. Special appearance by Drew Burton.
Ooh,
He might be getting a little bit more active in the show, schedule pending. So,
and yet his house got struck by lightning.
if you want to hear the most absurd stories ever, just talk to Drew Burton, because shit happens to him on the daily that you just won't believe.
I like that in the group chat. He's like, we would have won this game if my modem didn't explode from my house getting struck by lightning, and I was sitting in my regular scheduled chair or something. I'm like, what the fuck did I just read?
Well, because he's like, I'm watching it on my tiny little phone screen, and he just bought this Camden Yards screen like seat.
He brought it.
He bought it from eBay or wherever he bought it from. And now he's watching games in that seat because he's superstitious.
Joe said he voted for me because of Slash. Hell yeah, I was getting shit for taking Slash. I got to vote for it. Screw you
I
guys.
understand. Like there were definitely some good picks, but Kesha,
You took Aaliyah over Nelly.
yes, but I forgot Nas. That one. That's
a bad one.
He's our favorite rapper.
My house got struck by lightning in 2009. God damn, dude. Was everything okay, or did you have a lot of damages?
So now, within a year, Drew's house has been struck by lightning, and then he almost burnt the entire house down by starting a forest fire and got on the news for it. Within a year.
I'll tell you this about Drew's
Maybe
house.
he's not supposed to live in the county.
The only time I've ever been there, I got there at like 11 p.m. And if you've never been to Drew's house, it's a very daunting house up on a hill. Yeah. It looks like Boo Radley's house. And I thought I was going into a horror movie. I was like, it looks like I'm going into like I Know What You Did Last Summer territory going into this house. It was the first time I ever went. It was so dark out. I had no idea what I was getting into.
Boo Radley's house. I like that reference.
Yeah. Atticus Finch. Anyway, the Snakes draft today is, how are we going to word this? Best situations for a beer, best moments, best places to have a beer.
Best moments for a beer.
Best moments for a beer.
Yeah. So, for example, you got a 9 a.m. flight to wherever you're going for vacation. You get to the airport a couple hours early. You have yourself an airport beer. That's an airport beer. That's a good situation to have a beer in. Big Town says before sex. Some would argue during. But anyway, that's going to be our criteria today. We're going to come up, obviously, with some pretty off the wall situations here, or just there's going to be some normal ones and some weird ones, I'm sure.
Why would I think like a sex beer? I also think of George Costanza eating pastrami with mustard.
Oh my god! In his like nightstand drawer. Oh my god! Yeah.
It goes back to sex.
Are you eating a sandwich? All right, Brooks won the last draft, so he gets first pick. What do you want, Brooks?
I'm going to pick third, but before we do any of this, gotta play the best intro in the game.
Yeah, we do. Probably should have had a beer for this moment, huh?
Yeah.
Didn't think about that. Roger McNuggets does not approve. Oh, God. All right. Well, I'm not going to be the only one without a beer. I'm going to go first, but I got to go get a beer first. Okay. You guys keep it going for a second.
All right, I'll go. Oh, man.
I love doing there's this Will Ferrell meme from, I think is it from Old School? Where it's just him cracking a beer and he's making, and there's just beer going everywhere. So every time I crack a beer now.
Will Ferrell was telling a story about, I might have told you this before, but I don't think I've ever done it on the podcast. He's telling a story about how when they were filming Old School and he's running down the street, like I'm running to the quad. You ever heard this, Brooks?
Yeah. Well, not the story, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So he's they're filming that, and it's actually like a legit street in Los Angeles. And they shut down the street, but there's still active businesses along this, that road. And when he's running, he is naked, but they give you some sort of thing to cover his situation down there. But anyway, he's running down the street, and he said there are people in like a gym, like some sort of low like boutique gym, and they're running on a treadmill. They're running on treadmills that look out to that road, and you just see a camera crew go by. Will Ferrell running down the street naked. People were like losing their fucking minds. You imagine just be like getting your like 8 p.m. jogging, and all of a sudden Will Ferrell goes running down the fucking street with no clothes on.
That'd be awesome. That'd make my day. That would make my year.
KFC still open? All right. Well, Dustin's going first.
I'm going first.
Before we start, shout out Scotty's Vodka.
Scotty's Vodka.
Shout out Scotty's Vodka.
Yeah.
Scotty's Vodka.
I need to see if we're allowed to drink these with a Scotty's Vodka sponsorship. We should probably ask.
Yeah, we should. I got your on the 6 bottle over there. I was drinking on the golf course the other day. Nice.
I got a hazy little thing, multi-pack thing. So I'm going to drink this cosmic little thing. I think I'm just going to take the airport beer at number 1. I think it's safe. Yeah. It's a safe pick, but it's a good one. And it's a beer that I look forward to. When I go to the airport, I'm always getting there at least an hour early just so I can go to. Usually, if I'm flying out of Southwest, I'm going to a Bricky's and getting myself a little cold beer.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll go to the Flying Dog Brewery in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In BWI. Since I moved to Ocean City, I fly out of Salisbury quite a bit, so don't get the pre-flight airport beer, unfortunately. But it's a lot more convenient than driving to Baltimore. But anyway, I'm taking the airport beer number 1. Brian, what's the number 2 overall pick?
Well, I'm definitely going to a Brecky's from BWI, but still, you and I and Evan, we still have one of the craziest airport beers.
Ethan.
I'm sorry, Ethan. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, you told that story though.
That is so ridiculous. I still some of those photos still pop up as like my Apple photo of the day. All right, I'm gonna go with the tailgate beer.
Yeah, that was gonna be my. That was. I was between that and the airport beer. That's just a great beer.
Yeah, I got to go with. I got.
There's a lot of beers on here.
I got 2 big dogs coming up here. My number 1 beer has got to be a golf course beer. We're a big golf show.
Yeah.
We all enjoy golf a lot. We've all drank too much on the golf course.
My number
golf
2.
Course, hard to beat a golf course beer.
The 19th. I put 19th hole beer.
Yeah. Either way, yeah.
I mean, I can't
go wrong with it.
I don't think I've ever golfed around a golf. So, well, I shouldn't say sober, but like without having at least a beer.
Yeah.
And then on my way back, on my snake on the way back, after lawnmower beer, after mowing the lawn beer.
Yeah. Post lawn mowing beer. This is a Glenn Rothschild special here.
Mm-hmm.
Post lawn mower or post car washing beer.
Yeah. That would be the Glenn Rothschild special.
All right, so I mean, look,
if you were our grandfather, it would be beer during mowing the lawn.
Yeah. On the old riding mower. Yeah.
All right. It's fallen too far. The ball game beer.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with the ball game beer. The only drawback I have here is the price of the ball game beer is generally a little too high. But once again, it's still going to taste great.
You're at the ball game. Yeah.
You're going to have to. I'm going to go with a fishing beer.
Yeah,
if I'm fishing, I want a beer. And I guess I could have gotten more specific there, but I didn't need to. And then I'm going to go with an underrated one here.
Before we move on, does that take boat beer out?
See, that's what I don't know.
I think so. I think if you say boat beer, that just takes everything out. I would just go with boat beer.
No, because you can fish I can fish right here with the boat.
Okay. Then no. It doesn't.
Boat beer's still in. Okay.
Yeah, boat beer's still in, and I'm not going to take it. I'm going to let you have it because I've got one. I got another one that I think is going to fly under the radar. Give me a campfire beer.
Like that.
If we're making a fire, like a fire pit kind of thing, I'm having a beer for sure. Bonfire, campfire beer.
I dig that.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Brian?
Going with the shower beer.
Oh, all right. I like it. This is a nice move.
I think this is the most overrated beer of all time.
Do you?
Oh,
You're not a shower beer guy, huh?
I just end up getting soap in it and water in it, and I'd rather just drink it before I get in and drink it when I get out.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. All right, Brooks, you got 2 picks here. What do you got?
All right. I am going to go with the Friday after work happy hour beer, the first one after a long week.
Friday happy hour beer is a good beer. It doesn't really pertain to me in my profession because Friday is usually like my Wednesday.
Yeah, you understand.
I understand.
Yeah.
For me, it would be like a Monday beer.
Like a post shift.
yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah.
And then for my wraparound, you didn't take it, so I'm gonna take it. Give me a beer on a boat. It's hard to be on a boat and not want a beer, not crave something.
Yeah, beer on a boat. There's nothing wrong with that. I've drank plenty of beers on boats. I don't know that I've gotten on a boat in a long time without drinking a beer.
I like beer and I like boats. I like them to be at the same time.
Yeah.
it's like
Plus, you're not making cocktails on a boat, right? Most people aren't.
No,
Most
you
people or put some beer in there.
got to be a canned cocktail if you're doing that. It's tough to do that.
yeah,
Don't want
it's
glass on the boat.
sacrilegious to golf or get on a boat and not drink a beer.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
All
agree.
right, I'm up. I'm going.
Still a couple.
There's
Some heavy hitters.
Heavy hitters. I'm going to victory beer. The winning beer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I like that victory beer.
yeah.
A victory for like your sports team, a victory after winning in golf.
Mhm.
Sports team, any kind of victory. Like if you a baseball game. Yeah, we in college.
Okay.
Celebratory beer, like a victory beer, a sporting event victory beer, however you want to word it.
Okay. I like it.
All right. I can't believe this has fallen so far, but I'm gonna go the I don't know how to phrase this. Let's say 4th of July barbecue beer, or just like a barbecue beer.
I like barbecue beer.
Barbecue beer. Yeah,
Grilling
I mean,
beer,
yeah, 100%. And I'm drinking that out of a red Solo cup most of the time. Yeah. After that, I think I'm just gonna go with a good classic, just sitting on the porch beer, just sitting on the back porch and having a beer.
All right.
Yeah,
fair.
It's gonna be a pretty boring list, but there we go. That's my crew of beers.
All right. My last one is a concert beer.
Concert beer, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're always gonna be drinking some beers at a concert.
I got one, right?
Yep. You get your last one here.
Man.
You could do podcast beer.
Wow, there's one that hasn't gotten taken yet that really should have been taken way earlier.
Yeah, there's 2 here that I'm in between. Give me NFL Week 1 beer.
Wow, NFL Sunday beers, dude. That was another one I forgot about.
NFL, specifically Week 1, when you get back together and you're watching sports with your boys for the first time, all together.
And NFL Sunday beer in general is a really good one, but Week 1 is a special one.
Yeah.
I mean, the number one beer that we didn't take was a beer on the beach.
Oh,
that one and
Yes.
that one and a poolside beer.
Poolside beer.
That's big. Those are big misses, guys.
Big misses.
Damn. Do you have any other honorable mentions besides that?
I got post workout beer.
Okay. Interesting.
Movie theater beer, because now anytime you go to the movies, you have to drink.
I'm going to the movies today. I'm going to have a beer.
And the last one I have is just because this is me like we would do game nights all the time, like a board game beer.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a good one.
Game night beer. Yeah.
Yeah, game night beer.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love game night.
Yeah.
My other ones, I said poolside after you said the beach beer. Honestly, a locker room beer, but Brian kind of had that like a post victory beer.
Victory beer, yeah.
So that's pretty much the same there.
I keep thinking of Golden Monkey every time you say victory beer.
I know,
yeah.
same.
Yeah. I don't have a ton of, maybe like a post diet beer, like the first beer after you've done like a dry January or something.
Mm.
It's not
That's a
bad.
good one.
Something like that. I can't think of any other ones.
I was thinking of like Deep Creek, like a cabin beer situation, or like the
Ooh.
first beer on vacation. Nobody said. Like if you
Yeah.
like when we got to the house in
When you
Sarasota.
land,
first
yeah.
beer, yeah. There's the
that first night in Sarasota. Oh my! At least when I got down there, holy shit.
there's the taxi's 5 minutes away beer. That's a good beer.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. That one, I don't even think that was enjoyable. You're like,
You're like, oh, I gotta get this down, dude.
you either get it down too fast, and you're like, do I crack another one, try to get another one down,
Yeah.
or you can't get it down. It's going down like nails, and you're like, God damn it, this is going down so heavy.
I mean, going back to Sarasota, it's kind of like, I don't know if this goes in with that first day vacation beer, but like the welcome beer. Like you just kept, Brooks just kept setting up beers on a chair right when you walked in the house.
Pre-wedding vows beer. That's a
good one.
Like that.
Yeah. You do not drink while bass fishing. Okay. I'll drink when I want
like
to. What about your buddy's driving and you're sitting in the back seat? Road trip beer.
Road trip beer.
That's a good one, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but
You're not, but it's
it is a beer.
Again, the guy that's coming on the show Thursday more than likely has gotten drunk many a times during road trips that I've been driving on. And usually when he was coming with me somewhere to do stuff, like when he was helping me move or whatever, when he was coming on a long road trip, he packs his own cooler and just sits there just like I was like, dude, do what you want. I don't care.
Oh man, I have some stories from back in the day. I won't bring up, but there's a video of my buddy Matt, last name redacted, coming out of the car on his drive down to Ocean City with our buddy driving. Obviously, he's sitting in the back seat, and we were like, "Hey, you need help opening or like getting your stuff out of the car?" So I went out. It was at the trailer. I went out, opened the backseat door, and just a parade of cans just in his car. Anyway, we probably shouldn't have done that, but it was a long time ago. It was a lot of fun. Anyway.
Somebody just texted me the helmet beer. Those beer helmets.
Oh, that's a good one. All right.
I really enjoy those. Those are fun. But I mean, I wouldn't say that's like my favorite beer in the world.
I don't know that I've ever has that ever happened? Have you ever worn one of those things?
Yeah.
Huh. Like I have.
Or man, like the first beer of like a beer Olympics or a case race usually goes down really good, but then it gets, it's bad at the end, but
yeah.
The first one always feels good.
Yeah,
luckily,
this is why
Pigtown, we were able to skirt that a couple times.
I was thinking of other ones. Master Sunday is a good beer. Beer with crabs.
Oh man, that's
beer. That's a good beer.
That's a heavy hit.
Yeah.
That's a heavy hitter that should have gotten taken with a Baltimore sports show.
What about like Dollar Beer Night beer? First beer.
Are any of those left?
Yeah, really.
I don't know, dude. Yeah.
It's not many. There's 2 left. They're at the San Diego Zoo.
I was talking to a guy a couple of days ago. He was saying he went to Columbus for work or something, and he went to a minor league stadium, whatever the Columbus team is out there, minor league team. He said that they were doing 10-cent dogs, 10-cent hot dogs. Minimum of 5 to buy.
Minimum.
You have to buy at least 50 cents worth of dogs.
Yeah.
Dog, I'll give you $1. Load me up.
Yeah, load me up. Fuck yeah, dude.
I buy myself a time.
Let's do that.
He did because we somehow we got to talking about the 999 challenge. But he said he did it at this Columbus stadium. So, but that's that. I got to.
Thursday we have our. Did we decide 90s only starting lineup?
Yeah. So we're going to do our decades. We're going to do the MLB. We're going to draft. Are we going to draft them, or are we just going to make them ourselves? And we're going to have crossover on this, right?
I think we should draft them. I think that's more fun when people can strategize a little bit against each other.
That's cool. So you can take a catcher number one just because there's like not a lot of catchers options, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? One starting pitcher each and one bullpen guy each, or how do you want to do it?
I think that's enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we can
And are we doing a DH or no?
I say let's do a DH. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna draft our starting 9, and we're gonna do, I guess, each Thursday. If you guys want to do it, keep going. We'll keep going with the segment. Ooh, all right, I like that. Hell yeah. So yeah, we're gonna draft. We're gonna do our starting 9s from each decade. Do we only get the stats that count for that decade, or do we just if they have to have played in that decade? Because obviously there's gonna be some guys that played in 90s and 2000s.
Stats from that decade, I think.
All right. So we're going to do 90s only, and then next week we will do 2000, week after that 2010, and we might do 2020s. It's only halfway through. We'll see. If you guys like the segment, we'll see how it goes, and we'll keep doing it. But yeah, we're going to start with the 90s, and
we're going to do that, and then I think we talked about possibly bringing back the Hall of Fame or not segment that we were doing for a while that Brian was doing, but we're going to put a little. We're gonna get you guys involved a little bit on that. We might play with that on Thursday a little bit. I'm not 100% sure, but we're kind of still tinkering with the idea. So how it's actually gonna work.
It should be fun.
I gotta jump because I gotta shower. I got something coming up. So
all right, yeah. I'm gonna finish the rest of this beer, and then I'm gonna go to the movies, and then go to work tonight. So you guys have a great Tuesday. Also, shout out to JP, Lacey, and Steph. I went to their wedding this weekend, and it was awesome. Got to see a bunch of people I haven't seen in a long time. Shout out to Ty Smith and Jordan Ladarzik and a bunch of those guys. Jeff Powell. Haven't seen all those guys in a long time.
Jordan Ladarzik was there?
Jordan Ladarzik. Jordan Waldarzik.
Wow.
Former Westchester baseball great.
Wedding season is here.
Yeah, wedding season was here. It was a beautiful wedding on the beach. Afterwards, we went to Saltwater 75, had the little reception dinner. It was pretty casual. It was a beach wedding. And then everyone went to Secrets afterwards, which was my second time at the mothership this week. Ballyhoo there too, yeah. But anyway, Jeffrey Hammonds. Look at that. Yeah. Just Jeff. He didn't go by Jeffrey?
Well, Jeffrey in the signature, apparently. Only Hef. Hef in this, Hefe in that.
Hefe Hammonds. But yeah, anyway, you guys have a great Tuesday. We'll be back on Thursday with our baseball segment and some more Orioles talk. Hopefully we will get some barrels on DeGrom tonight.
Yeah, baby. All right, guys. Have fun. I'll talk to you later.
We'll see y'all.